Mass chaos in the world. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rachakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth in sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai. And this is just going to be a open forum going into the many events that are going on around the world, based on the research and articles which I had read over the past couple of days to past week. And indeed, a lot has been going on, from riots, from protesting to truckers storming into Canada to join protesters in their protest against draconian Crown Royal laws, to food shortages, you name it, to wars and rumors of wars. So this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified. And we're hearing about wars and commotions. There's wars and commotions all around the world. The whole situation with the United States and Ukraine, the United States who have backed military personnel in Ukraine, which also prompted Moscow to deploy troops to the borders of Ukraine, in which the United States is now pushing this propaganda that the United States is trying to invade Ukraine, even though the main invaders is the United States themselves. So there's a lot of controversy going on right now. Russia's main goal is really to snuff out those Western embassies in Ukraine, because what the United States is trying to do is they're trying to get a political foothold on Ukraine, because if the United States can gain full influence over Ukraine, then Ukraine's territory would practically belong to the United States at this point, because then the United States will be able to set up bases and garrisons. They'll be able to, basically, they would have a strategical advantage against Russia, which would then prompt Russia to that would force Russia to attack Ukraine. And who knows what the United States could bring into that country of Ukraine if they gain a full political foothold over Ukraine. We're talking nuclear missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles. We're talking stealth choppers, stealth bombers. Now, Russia's seen what the United States have done to these other countries, such as Afghanistan, Iraq, the western parts of the United States, what they try to do to Syria and Kazakhstan. And Russia's looking at Ukraine, and they realize that the United States is trying to do the exact same thing. They're trying to overthrow. The United States is they're trying to overthrow the Ukrainian regime so they can set up their own puppet leader in there. But ultimately, what we're seeing here is the United States is cynically using Ukraine against Russia. And even Russia came out and said that the United States is cynically using Ukraine against Russia, while the United States is pretending to act like they're into the interest of the Ukrainians. The United States is actually there for their own interest. They don't really care about Ukrainians. So there's wars and commotions all over the place. The situation with Kazakhstan. Russia sent troops into Kazakhstan and basically commanded his troops to shoot and kill anybody that looked like a terrorist, which also leads me to this. Ezekiel chapter 38. Now to start at 1. The word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them. Now Gog and Magog is Russia. That's Russia right there, okay? And say, Thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So the Lord is against Russia, right? And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen. So the Lord is training these Russian soldiers for the sole purpose of ultimately combating against the United States. All of them clothed with all sort of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, which are the Iranians, Ethiopia, and Libya. Okay, Ethiopia, I believe, is located in the eastern part of Africa, and Libya is located in the western part of Africa. It says, with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his band, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. So Russia has a large army. And let's be reminded that Russia also became allies with China. Okay? It says, Be thou prepare and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And that is another reason why Russia sent troops into Kazakhstan. The same reason why he sent troops into Syria. Because the United States, being the fox, the sneaky little serpent they are, try to slither their way in there and cause controversy and chaos in their end. Except this, the only difference between Russia and Syria and the United States and with Russia and Kazakhstan is that with Russia and Kazakhstan, Russia did not waste any time in Kazakhstan. As with like Syria, Russia kind of like laid back. They observed the situation. We see how the United States hired agent provocateurs to release chemical agents in the city in order to blame Assad for the chemical warfare, which was going on around that time. We saw how the U.S. attempted to use the CIA to hire economic hitmen to crash the economy. So by experience, when Russia saw the exact same thing getting ready to play out in Kazakhstan, this time he didn't waste any time. He sent his troops into Kazakhstan and commanded them to shoot and kill anybody that looked like a terrorist. So, hey, as soon as Russia says shoot and kill, America got those. The United States got those U.S.-backed militant troops and those U.S.-backed terrorist troops out of Kazakhstan ASAP, because Russia's not playing around, man. Okay, them Russian soldiers are those are soldiers. Okay, so we're seeing prophecy play out here. Okay, now there's something else I would also like to bring out. This is the book of Joel, because there's been a lot of missile testing lately and a lot of drills which have been taking place. And as a matter of fact, North Korea has tested 3 missiles so far this month, in which they claim that they have a intercontinental ballistic missile that can travel and reach the soils of the United States. And there's been a lot of military drills going on between Russia. And as a matter of fact, Russia conducted a anti-nuclear submarine drill in the waters of NATO. I'll give you a good understanding of what's going on here. Joel chapter 3, verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Now, the Gentiles of Joel 3 and 9 is talking about the Arabs, the Chinese, the Japanese, the North and South Koreans, the East Indians, the Africans, the Hawaiians, and the so-called white man. These are your Gentiles of Joel 3 and 9. And it said, prepare war. And that's what these nations are doing. China, preparing for war. Africa, preparing for war. Okay, Turkey, Germany, making preparations for war. Ukraine, making preparations for war. NATO, making preparations for war. So it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So another reason why Pyongyang has been testing these nuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles to see how far it can go up towards the sky. Because if they can get an intercontinental ballistic missile up into the ozone layer of the Earth, that would definitely give them an advantage when it comes to striking the United States. Now, there is something else that I also wanted to bring out here. You know, this whole trucker convoy thing. Truckers storming into Canada, and I'm talking thousands of truckers storming into Canada to assist protesters in these draconian laws that are being passed. Okay, the V mandates that are going out. 2nd Esdras, chapter 15. I'll go ahead and, you know what? Let me start at verse 5. No, let me start at verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. And what I'm speaking right now are the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, right? And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Yes, they are faithful and true. So now I'm going to skip down to verse 5, right? Behold, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So the Lord said he's going to bring plagues upon the world. Okay, there's a global financial crisis going on right now. And of course, they're putting the blame on they're putting the blame on the Crown Royale. Okay, you know, food shortages everywhere. Oh, and by the way, there is a global shortage of fertilizer. And what is fertilizer used for? They're used by farmers to grow crops. Now, like certain brothers have brought out in their videos, farmers are actually being told by the U.S. government to destroy their crops. And that if they don't, they could face penalties. So with a global shortage of fertilizer for farmers to grow crops and things like that, that could cause a famine worldwide, globally. Now I'm going to skip down to verse 14 here. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and the one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Now, the United States, as of recent, have conducted guerrilla warfare exercises in Washington. I believe in Virginia as well as South Carolina. They have conducted guerrilla warfare exercises. Okay, and their main target is you ex-military personnel that used to be in the military. Okay, but you're no longer in the military, as well as you patriots, because the U.S. government, they're getting ready to move in to take away the guns of you people. So Second Ezra 15 verse 15 here is talking about race wars, but on the other hand, this verse is also talking about civil wars. You know, there's going to be civil war. There's going to be civil wars here in America. Okay, well, when the time comes for people to take their guns and these patriots, they start, you know, shooting at people trying to raid their homes. There's going to be shootouts everywhere. Okay, so these different men, U.S. military personnel, they've been conducting live training while using blank rounds. You know, they're actually shooting each other with blank rounds and using grenades, getting ready to come after you people. And of course, they've been conducting urban exercises because they're also coming after Jake too. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men. We're seeing protests. And a matter of fact, a new protest recently broke out in Ukraine. Okay. You know, we're seeing a massive protest take place down there in Canada. Different truckers going on strikes to protest against the V mandate. And what is a sedition? A sedition is a rebellion or a uprising against the government and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and of course their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. How come he's not going to be able to go into a city? Because the roads, the bridges, the exits, as well as the entrances are going to be blocked by martial law. They're going to have spike strips set up. They're going to have barricades set up. They're going to have MRAPs set up. So you people cannot leave. And all these troops that are going to be blocking off bridges and all that, they're going to be armed. Okay? They're going to have weapons with live ammunition in them. And if you try to cross the border, well, you getting one or two things are happening. You're going to get shot up, or you're going to be detained and you're going to be thrown into a prison, whether if it be a concentration camp, whether if it be penitentiary, whether if it be a jail center, a holding center. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So with that, I'm going to say, Shalom is on to the next one.